You guys probably already know that I'm kind of a tool geek, and I do love me some big tools. I mean, have you seen my planer? Hey. But I'm also a fan of tools that punch way above their weight class at the other end of the scale. So with that in mind, here are 5 tiny tools that I can't live without. First up is a teeny tiny block plane. Now I actually have 3 small block planes. I've got this Bridge City model, which was a very nice gift from my editor Todd.
Really nice.
This one in the middle is a handmade Krenov style wooden block plane made by a guy named Scott Nelson. But the one that I use the most is this Lee Nielsen violin maker's plane. The bronze body is pretty hefty for its size, and it features a fully functional blade adjuster, so everything is pretty familiar here. And let's compare this to a regular size block plane. Just from the size alone, you can see that this guy's gonna get into places that a regular block plane just can't. And the plane is so small that it easily fits into your apron or pants pocket.
Is that a plane in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Always with the jokes. Now, my favorite use for this thing is exactly what you see right here. A lot of times I like to break the edge without using a fully routed profile, and this little guy just takes the sweetest little passes, right? The other thing is, because it's so small, let's say I'm working the inside of a drawer like this, well, you want to ease that edge too, and this gets me a lot closer to the other corner, right? Because the body is just so small. A regular block plane would keep me much further away, and it just reduces the amount of work I have to do when I go to clean up the rest of that. This thing feels so good in hand, it's so fun to use that my face just lights up every time I have a chance to use it. And in fact, you'll see me using it in situations where I could and probably should use a different tool, but I love it. Next up is a very small router plane. Now in the Veritas line, this is actually referred to as their medium router plane. They've got a small router plane and a miniature router plane. Now those get really tiny and I'm afraid I might swallow them. So the one that I have is the medium, and you can even see compared to the regular large router plane, the advantages you might have here with a smaller base that allows you to get into tighter spaces, especially if you're up against maybe a cabinet side or something like that. Or if you're doing something like, I don't know, cleaning the material out for a mortise for a hinge. You know, this is a great handy little tool that's very easy to get into tight spaces. Now, even though it's small, you really have all the features you would expect on a basic router plane here, including your little stop collar there. The other thing is you can reverse the orientation of your cutter. And just by reversing the mechanism here, you now have the blade out in front with no material on the base in front of the blade, which is kind of convenient as well. Oh, and the other thing is if you are in this ecosystem and you have the other router plane, the large router plane, the blades, they're exchangeable. They're compatible between the two systems. Well, next up, we're gonna turn up the juice a little bit to talk about a tiny power tool. The trim router, aka compact router, aka laminate trimmer. Now, whatever you choose to call it, it's basically just a small format router, often battery powered, which is nice because then you're not tethered. You can get multiple bases, especially on this Milwaukee version, and that really allows me to get into places that other routers just can't get to. The other thing is I liked them so much I bought 2 because I like to keep them outfitted with common profiles that I often use in my projects. And whenever I need to route a light edge profile, this is the tool that I'm grabbing. It's just so easy to whip around a tabletop or a panel and adds a nice 16th or 1/8 inch roundover super fast and efficiently. But these are also great tools for making shallow mortises or even doing some light flush trimming operations. Now, obviously I've got the Milwaukee brand here, but I think pretty much every portable power tool manufacturer makes a version of one of these. So essentially, pick your favorite color. Next up, I want to show you my absolute favorite wood rasp. It's the RU 7-inch Modeler's Rasp. Now, if you're not familiar, a rasp is really just like a file that's intended for use with wood, and depending on the configuration and the stitching pattern, you can get very aggressive to very smooth. I have a bunch of different sizes and shapes for all kinds of fun stuff, but the one that I love the most that just gives me absolute pleasure whenever I use it is this little guy. It's aggressive enough that I could use it for shaping small parts or finishing off shaping on larger parts. And anytime I have a carved or sculpt piece, this guy's gonna come out and play. Its small size and lightweight combined with the sharp cutting action make it a force to be reckoned with, and it's fun as heck to use. And after a pulled pork sandwich for lunch, it comes in handy as a toothpick. The internet is filled with lots of free information about woodworking, but it can be tricky to sift through the ads, the influencers, and the DIYers flooding your feed.
The Wood Whisperer Guild is the answer. Now, if you want to take your guild experience to the next level, consider becoming a Guild Plus subscriber. Watch a classic guild course each month. Save 5% on all guild courses and pre-orders. Access to a bunch of vendor discounts. Attend a live demonstration every month. Access to interviews with notable woodworkers. Access our private communities, including the Guild Forum, the Guild Facebook group, and the Guild Discord channel. And finally, you'll have access to me, Mark Spagnolo, via a special contact form that goes right to my inbox. You could sign up monthly or save with a yearly subscription. Be the woodworker you've always wanted to be with the help of the Wood Whisperer Guild.
Now finally, I've got the most used measuring device in my shop, the 4-inch combination square. Now I actually use these things so much that I have 3 of them. I've got one from Lee Valley. This one is from Tony at Hillview Wood and Metal, and then also from Tony is my one-of-one custom Wood Whisperer 4-inch combination square. I use these for things like checking boards for square, tool setup, and when doing any kind of a small-scale layout, it is my tool of choice. I'll use it with a pencil to lay out a mortise, or I can even use it as a reference for a knife cut. These can also be great for measuring blade and bit heights. So no matter where I am in the workshop, there is always a 4-inch combination square no more than a couple of steps away. Even after 20 years of woodworking, I still find shop time fun. I find using tools fun. So when there's something that maybe it's not the most practical choice, but it brings a smile to my face and it makes my shop time that much more enjoyable, it's gonna have a permanent home in my shop. I love what I do and I love the tools that allow me to do what I do. So maybe you're just like me, I don't know, maybe I'm weird with this stuff, let me know. And speaking of letting me know, are there tools that I've missed here? Are there things that you have in your shop that maybe aren't the most practical, but it's so tiny and so satisfying to use that you just can't help but grab it at every opportunity? All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Please be sure to like and subscribe. That certainly helps us out here. And make sure that you don't miss any of our content as we produce it in the future. We'll see you next time.
Is my hair all weird? Okay. Is that a plane in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
But after you deliver the line,
I gotta go away?
slam the door
Okay.
as quickly as you need.
Okay, okay.
You're happy with that one?
Are you happy with it?
This thing feels so good.
That's what she said.
Try it again. That my face, yeah, that's much better. It's much better. And finally, I have the most.